Welcome to Discovering. Tonight, we tour an abandoned Cold War radar base in the Keweenaw that is open for tours.
Ground-to-air communication. There are 2 arrays on the entire site.
Plus, we sneak across the border and do some walleye fishing last summer on the Bay of Green Bay.
Barry, make another double.
So sit back and relax. It's Monday night, and it's time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Up in the remote forests of the Keweenaw is an abandoned military radar base, a site once closed off to the general public and a hotspot for vandals and curious folks who like trespassing an isolated ghost town on the top of a mountain. In 2021, a group of Michigan Tech alumni purchased the 100-acre property formerly known as the Calumet Air Force Station. When I heard they were giving tours of this site, I was excited to see it for myself. The base is located north of Calumet, just off US 41 on Gratiot Lake Road. Also known as Mount Horace Greeley, this site is the highest point in the Keweenaw, overlooking Gratiot Lake and a good place to establish an Air Force radar base in 1950.
This is a military base that during the height of the Cold War was a watchtower along with a bunch of others across the entire northern US against Soviet Russia during the Cold War. If ever at a point a bomber or a rocket would come over the North Pole, these sites would basically pick it up on their radar and then call in jets to intercept before they actually reached the country.
The data from these radars was fed directly to a computer located at the K.I. Sawyer Air Force Base south of Marquette, where fighter jets and nuclear bombers were stationed.
This is the ground-to-air communication. There are 2 arrays on the entire site. There's one on this side and there's one on the opposite side. These would send data to those planes that then would direct them to where they had to go. It was the earliest form of autopilot they had. The pilots didn't have to do anything if they didn't have to, and it would basically guide them directly to where they needed to go, which is very impressive for 1950s, 60s.
The Calumet Air Force Station was operated by the 665th Radar Squadron.
This particular one did not have any call-ins except for a single UFO, which they didn't have any means of what they could identify what that was. So they had hundreds of these across the entire upper US. A lot of them closed down in the 70s. This one ended up lasting until 88 because even as technology grew, there was still a blind spot up here. And so they needed this base to last a little bit longer until technology finally caught up.
The radar station was deactivated in 1988. The property sat vacant until the late 90s, until a youth correctional facility called the Keweenaw Academy opened at this site. The academy shut down in 2004 and the property returned to Keweenaw County, where it sat abandoned for 17 years until this new group acquired it in 2021.
Roughly 305 people at the max when the military was in full swing. That included families and enlisted. This is the guard shack. There used to be a gate here. And now we're going to be moving on into the residential district. There are 2 neighborhoods here currently. This is where all of the enlisted family would be housed, as well as some of the staff during the academy. So far, the bones are still pretty good. It's basically just the normal wear and tear from vandalism and nature. We're hoping at some point in time we would love to get these things back up to normal condition. It's definitely a long-term project versus the other more short-term ideas we have on the military side. We'll start working our way towards the military side.
First up, motor pool and the automotive center.
Where they would hold their ambulance, a few other equipment and trucks. And this is currently our home base. This is the one building that has power down here. And this is kind of where our central hub is for hopefully getting this all put together again. Coming up ahead of me is the 4 barracks that we have here. This is where the single enlisted would be, as well as some of the students were in a couple of these as well during the academy. We're hopefully going to be renovating this one straight ahead of us first, and just doing some hotel style rooms just as a start, and we'll see how we what things pan out from there. We're hoping in like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, we'll get that rolling. And then over here is the rec center. This is where they had a lounge space, a half-court gym, a bowling alley, and a racquetball court. Over here we have the cafe mess hall. This is where everyone got fed, if not at their own homes, if they were family members here. This building over here used to be commissary, and then it got switched over to offices. That used to be the old engineering building. Had all of the drawings, blueprints, site plans, future engineering projects were all done in that building. And then these next couple buildings here, they changed a lot of different roles over time. I always reference this one as the admin building, where offices, paperwork, any documentation for the military. And then the academy changed it into classrooms. These 2 small buildings here used to be single officers' quarters, but as time progressed, I think one got turned into a medic center and the other one into something entirely different. And then you can see that we have full cell signal up here. We don't own that tower either. The county still owns that. They chopped out an acre of land for themselves. They wanted to keep the revenue from that, which is understandable. The one caveat we have is that they plow the roads for us in the wintertime because they need access to that building. Foundation you see here, there used to be 3 original towers, and then they ended up building the 2 that you see now and demolishing the old 3. As technology progressed, they didn't need nearly as much, and so they just had to rely on 2. And they decided just to leave the foundations because it was a lot easier than having to take all that out. So there's foundations for 2 other towers up here as well. We are the tallest peak in the Keweenaw. We beat Brockway, Bohemia, Mount Houghton. We're 1,540 feet above sea level here. This pad that we're walking up to is another foundation for that one of the older towers, and this is the natural highest point of the mountain currently. And then over here, this used to be the original engineering building, and then that got switched over to the chapel in later use. Next up, we're going to be heading towards the bunker. The blueprints state that they could hold 100 people in an emergency situation. Once you get down there, you'll be surprised at how tight it can actually get. And there were bunk beds, an armory, and food and supplies as well to hold out. So.
The name of the group is Open Skies Project. That name has a double meaning. It was named after the Open Skies Treaty that was signed in 1992 at the end of the Cold War, and the site offers amazing open dark sky views of the entire Keweenaw. The goal of the Open Skies Project is to bring life back to this property and preserve the history of this Cold War radar station.
It was one of those pipe dream ideas, like if this ever came up, we'd have to try and go for it. And then basically I showed it to my cousin just as a joke. I'm like, wow, look at that, they're finally selling it, you know? And he took it as a challenge and decided to spearhead the whole thing. Got everybody together that was interested, and we ended up pooling our money together to bid on it. We made a proposal, and the county liked what they saw, and that's how we obtained it. And we've got a lot of ideas, a lot of things we'd really like to do with the place. The main goal is a museum up top. We're going to probably do a lot of rentals in the sense of the residential district, and then we're hopefully going to do maybe some office spaces. We'd like to get like the cafe running again, get like the rec center built up again to what it used to be. We want to keep as many buildings intact as possible. The fortunate thing about this base is since it lasted longer than the other bases that are across the country, most of the other bases have gotten sold and either half demolished, or you have like one of these towers left, or maybe 5 or 6 buildings, but we have like 90% of the buildings original still here. And so it's a really good time capsule of what it once was, and we want to try and keep it that way as best we can. It'll take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of labor, but we're willing to do it, and we're excited to do it.
The high point of the tour is the top of one of the remaining radar towers. From the top, you have 360-degree views of the Keweenaw Peninsula, and you can even see Mount Bohemia in the distance. To book a tour, visit their website, openskiesproject.org. The Michigan Walleye Opener is exactly 2 weeks out, and hopefully our favorite inland walleye lakes will be open by then. This was Lake Ogibic late last week. Since Mother Nature isn't getting us too excited for open water fishing, let's look at some big walleyes we caught last summer to get us amped up for the upcoming opener. Tim Long of the Timbers Resort on Lake Ogibic and I decided we wanted to go after bigger walleyes on bigger water. So we snuck south of the UP border into Wisconsin to fish the Bay of Green Bay. I figure since it's technically Lake Michigan and we're Upers, it still counts as a UP story in some roundabout way.
Other thing I do is I put that line twist in there, and I put that loop towards the front of the board, which is going to allow me to snap that line. The board will spin around backwards, and I can bring that fish in straight behind the boat.
Day one was hot, the bay was calm, and all we could catch were white perch and sheephead.
These things are a nuisance. We'll see what happens. Might have to change out some colors or something.
Tim switched up techniques and after a couple of passes, finally hooked into a walleye.
Not a lot of weight here.
Looks better.
Our first walleye after 3 or 4 passes. In an attempt to get away from the white perch and into the walleyes, we switched over to crankbaits. Been trolling for about an hour with crankbaits, so we got our first fish. So, oh, big head shakes.
Straight down. Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lucky grasp.
That's what we came here for.
Day 2 looked a lot different than day 1 on the bay.
This is the Green Bay we all know and love.
This is that walleye chop. What are we doing today? Trying a new location. A little bit more to the east today. A little bit shallower water. Water temperature is around 68 degrees. We are pulling crankbaits, number 9 flicker minnows. We just got set up in the last couple minutes here, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we're gonna have a 30 fish day. Nice gaggle of fish there, huh?
See a fish?
Catch a fish. Smiling. Look at that, that's a beautiful fish. Oh my God, it's beautiful, it's gold. Look at that thing. Yeah, we're out here fishing with my buddy Matt Prey on the Bay of Green Bay. Matt's another Mercury Pro Team guy.
Digging. It's a digger. Nice. We got 20 3/4.
In the box. That's a nice tank right there. That's a nice tank. Wow. This is awesome.
Now we smile, huh?
Yeah. 2 fish on those 2 new baits we just put on in less than 10 minutes. Awesome. And obviously this isn't a secret. Inside. We got a double going. We got a double.
Off.
Off?
Off.
Oh. Awesome. That's all you can say is awesome. It's just, what a fishery. This is so cool. What kind of bait swimming in this lake looks like that? And that thing is staying down deep. Nice. Nice release of the bait. Oh, you got one buried over here. Oh yeah. Buried with another double. I'm all caught up here.
Oh, buddy. Take your time, because I got a little baby. We're just gonna go.
I'm having so much fun today. Beautiful day. Not super hot. Not like the cooker we had yesterday.
He's straight away with it.
Okay. Go. Straight down to the bottom she went. Quality. Feels like quality. Okay, hooks out. Yeah, put her back in the water quick. Whoa, just total bulldog. Look at this, my God. Hook hider rods, the best inline planer board trolling rod out there. Beautiful. Here. Purple tiger this time. This is what we wanted. 30 fish day. Got him. 24 maybe. My outside one.
Quick release job on this guy.
I'm not gonna have any lines in the water.
Oh.
And the bait's off. Bye. Another nice, beautiful fish. We're just gonna do the torpedo. Yep. Nice. Again. Yeah, that was a triple. Get in there. Jeez. we're gonna wrap it up on a good note here. We just had a double. Got little lines tangled up and stuff, and we still got the fish in. So we're gonna call it a day. It's been an awesome day of fishing on the Bay of Green Bay.
That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.